Time we'll call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting for the purpose of agenda review for next week's business session. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Schaefer?
Absent.
Commissioner Allen?
Here.
Commissioner Klicka?
Absent.
Commissioner Osterhaus?
Here.
Commissioner Ashcraft?
Here.
Commissioner
Mr.
Brown?
Clerk is here.
Mr. Clerk came back.
Chairman Eilert?
Here. We do have a quorum present. Would the clerk please read the proposed action agenda items?
Action agenda number 2, resolution number 026-18, consider City of Gardner application number Z-18-03, request for rezoning of about 10 acres from CP-2 commercial to R-3 Garden Apartment District to allow a multifamily apartment complex to be known as Garden Walk of Gardner at the northwest corner of University Drive and Moonlight Road.
Mr. Leipzig.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jay Leipzig. This item, the applicant Sean Smith, on behalf of Belmont Development, is bringing this to you. It's for 60 total units, one community building out at the Johnson County New Century Airport. That's why this item is brought before you. It's within 1 mile of the airport. It is compatible and consistent with the airport compatibility plan, as well as the City of Gardner's long-term comprehensive plan. It was approved by the City of Gardner on April 16, 2018, and unanimously approved by the Airport Commission on April 25, 2018.
Okay, questions? All right, there being none, this is a planning item, so it will stay on action. I should note for the record that the one consent agenda item was the business meeting minutes for May 3rd. Item number 3.
Resolution number 027-18, consider City of Olathe application number P-18-06, final plat for a single-family residential subdivision to be known as The Greens at Prairie Highlands 6th plat in the vicinity of 144th Street and St. Andrews Avenue, Olathe, Kansas.
Mr. Leipzig.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jay Leipzig. This item is brought before you from the City of Olathe. Final plat for single-family residential subdivision at 144th Street, St. Andrews Avenue. It's for a total of 64 lots on about 26 acres. It's part of the Johnson County New Century Airport. It is within 1 mile of the airport. It is consistent with the airport's compatibility plan, as well as the long-term comprehensive plan with the City of Olathe. And this is the final plat of this project. Is consistent with the preliminary plat. It was approved by the City of Olathe on April 3rd, 2018, and unanimously approved by the Airport Commission on April 25th of 2018.
I think it should be noted that specifically this is a City of Olathe item as far as the land use is concerned. The county and the airport is involved because it is adjacent. So as far as the particulars of the land use, the only consideration by the county and the Airport Commission is that proximity.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Well, this is a planning item, so it will stay on action. Next item.
Item number 4, resolution number 028-18, consider City of Olathe application number P-18-04, final plat for a single-family residential subdivision to be known as Willows Crossing, 3rd plat, located in the vicinity of 143rd Street and Flum Road, Olathe, Kansas.
Jay.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jay Leipzig. This item, similar to our last one, was within the City of Olathe. The Willows Crossing 3rd plat at 143rd and Plum. It is within 1 mile of the Johnson County Executive Airport. It is consistent with the airport compatibility plan. Was approved by the City of Olathe on April 17th, 2018. The Airport Commission unanimously approved it on April 25th, 2018, and also staff is recommending approval.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Well, again, this is a planning item. We'll stay on action. Next item.
Item number 5, consider authorizing an exception to competition and approving service agreement renewals for respite care services with Kids TLC Incorporated and DCCCA Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $175,000 for one additional 12-month contract period ending June 30th, 2019, per Administrative Policy and Procedure Number 110.180.A.16.
Mr. Fortney.
Thank you, Tanner Fortney, Mental Health. Before you is a request to renew two of our respite care contracts, one with DECA and one with Kids TLC. The initial contract that we had authorized began in July of 2015, and there was two contract extensions that were allowed as part of that. The final contract extension, which was approved by you, will expire on June 30th of this year. And at that point, we went back to DECA and Kids TLC, and we discussed with them the renewals of those contracts. And initially, we anticipated bringing a new contract before you. However, the terms and conditions of the previous contract will remain in place. There was nothing real significant of any substance that was going to change as part of those, with the exception of one item, and that was on the DECA contract. Initially, they were paid at a lower rate for the respite care services, whereas we were reimbursing Kids TLC for $19.68. I believe they were being paid approximately $15. They had requested that that rate be raised so that it would be equivalent to what we were paying Kids TLC. We have no problem with that. That still provides us the ability to retain 18% of the Medicaid billing that we bill and then reimburse them through, so that should not create any challenges for us. And we have had good luck with DECA. They've done a good job for us with providing those services. So the only thing I would just mention on this is that, as I mentioned to you in previous years, this is all Medicaid funding. We refer the clients out to these vendors. They provide the service. We bill Medicaid, keep a certain portion of that payment for our administrative fees. The remainder goes to DECA and Kids TLC for reimbursement of their services. And this year, we do have funds budgeted that should be able to cover our costs. We have seen in past years those costs have been increasing, and we've had to come back to you before with requesting use of our reserves. However, with some changes that have happened with the state, with the PRTF system, we believe that those have started to stabilize in the last 12 months. That's what our data shows. So I don't believe we'll have to, hopefully we will not be requesting any additional spending authority this year for that. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Consent's fine.
All right, there being no questions, what about consent?
Please.
All right, so noted. Next item.
Item number 6, resolution number 035-18, consider declaring certain improvements to real property located at New Century Air Center as surplus and disposing of such improvements by transfer to Fire District Number 1 of Johnson County, Kansas, for the appraised fair market value of $750,000, and authorizing the reallocation and expenditure of fund balances for FY 2018 out of the general fund in the amount of $760,910 to be transferred to the airport fund as reimbursement for the improvements and for the reduced 2018 rent payments for the improvements.
Mr. Otto.
Good morning, Aaron Otto with the County Manager's Office. What's before you today has three parts, just to review what was in the issue statement. The first is to declare the fire station at New Century, which is owned by the county, as surplus. The second item is to move forward with the sale of that building to Fire District Number 1. And the third is to make a payment for that building to the Airport Enterprise Fund. And I'll give you a little background how we got to where we are. So this building was built by the county using GO bonds and airport funds in 1997 for the fire district. It's been habited by Fire District 1 during that time. At the end of their first 20-year land and building lease, it came forward that the fire district had an interest in purchasing the building from the airport. And so some different appraisals were done, and a fair market value was established at $750,000 for the building, not the land, but just the building. And the FAA signed off on that appraisal. So the Airport Commission has voted to support the $750,000 sale at its April meeting, and the Fire District has proposed paying for that to the county in two ways. One is to trade the current station in Gardner at 234 East Park Street, which is currently a Fire District station but also houses MEDAC for Johnson County. That would become a county asset and continue to house MEDAC in its operations, and then pay the balance of that, $331,000, to the county. So that is the declaring it surplus, the building, and also the sale of the building. The last item in here, the reason it's a little higher than $750,000 is that the airport commission was charging a lesser rate than the fair market value to offset a rate that the fire district was looking to charge MEDAC for that building. In order to comply with the FAA's requirements for fair market value, the airport would have to be made whole of that rent difference, which over this year, since we put a new lease into place, is $10,910. So that's the action that's before you, again, to transition just the building, and then they will enter into the fire district a land lease come disposition of the building. I stand for any questions you may have.
Mr. Otto, let me say congratulations. Working with the FAA, the Fire District, the Airport Commission, and the Board of County Commissioners. It looks to me like we're close to having a successful conclusion, so congratulations. Questions,
Thank you,
Mr. Klicka?
And I was just going to follow up. This completes all of our obligations and the ins and outs with all these different agencies to finally get a good, clean bill of health, correct?
Yes, sir. And we really thank Penny Postal Ferguson for that, Chairman Eilert's involvement, the fire district, numerous appraisers. There's been lots to get us to this point today.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Chairman. It has been a long and winding road. This came onto my plate when I first came on as a commissioner 16 months ago. So it has been a long and winding road. I would like to say thank you to Aaron, Otto, and to the airport board, and to Fire Chief Kirk and Dennis Meyer and their board. I'd like to say thank you to the county manager's office and specifically to Penny in helping get this done. And Maury, big help. Thank you. And I can't tell you how happy I am that this is getting close to moving off of my plate. So thank you.
All right. Well, I think under the circumstances, this should stay on action, so we'll keep it there. Are there any other items to be considered?
No, sir.
All right. Did you say yes?
No.
That's what I
No, sir.
I thought there were no items,
No,
but,
sir.
Okay, so there are no items. Our agenda review is concluded, and enjoy the Feed the Need activities, and we'll see almost everybody at 1 p.m.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.